Good evening and welcome to your issue-based program on Osrc Television Viewpoints. My name is Akintunde Akinshomola. Well, it seems disagreement between federal government and lecturers is something that comes and goes. The dispute between the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and the federal government rooted in a 2009 agreement promising better funding, condition of service, allowances, and institutional autonomy remains unresolved, even 50 years on. Well, most of those promises remain unfulfilled, which is the crux of the matter on Viewpoint today, as I'm being joined by my regular discussant on the show. Mr. Dr. Kewu, thank you so much for joining me on Viewpoint.
Good evening, and it's nice having me on board again today. Beautiful Monday, first day of the month. So let's wish our viewers good luck and good tidings this month of September.
Wonderful.
I know this September, this is the beginning of Ember month. We wish them to be careful.
Take things easy.
Take things easy, not to rush things because of December. There's always every day. There have been many Decembers and there will be many Decembers to come. So they have to take things easy.
Okay, equally I have, as always, another egghead in the house. The only learned person I have. So Felix Alonga, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me again, and say welcome to prosperous September, and that we have started the Ember months, and by the glory of God, we go to the destination safely through the grace of God.
Okay, let me start from you. Now we're discussing the lingering crisis, disagreement between university lecturers. In fact, we should even join polytechnic lecturers as well, and the federal government. In 2009, there was an agreement. So please tell me the key provisions of the agreement 15 years ago and why they have remained unfulfilled till date.
Thank you. University education, polytechnic, and college of education, they are tertiary institutions. And it is the level at which tertiary graduates are being produced on annual basis for the purpose of getting qualified personnel to work in various institutions of government, both public and private. And over the years, it seems that the government in Nigeria has not been able to fulfill the UNESCO provision in terms of funding of education. And at least 25% of the national budget is expected to be allocated to education. Whoever feels that education is too expensive, like Julius Nyerere
Of Tanzania.
that is okay, try ignorance. You know the implication. And this has been the bane of Nigeria education. People are saying that, the standard of education in Nigeria is low. It's not low. The standard of education in Nigeria is very, very high. But the unfortunate aspect is that all the relevant players, the federal government, the education, the teachers, the students, they are not doing their proper biddings in this perspective. And that is why, because of all these mirage of problems, there was agreement between the federal government and the ASU at that particular time. And you know now, presently we don't have only one union in the tertiary institution. We have as many as up to 3 trying to focus on their own specific area of interest and membership. And arising from 2009 agreement, basically the summary of all the up to 9 to 12 specific demands are geared towards ensuring that, there is better condition of service, and ensuring that instructional facilities, and they have relevant facilities in the various institutions, and also institutional autonomy, in which every institution, every university should be able to determine the leadership that will preside over the affairs of the university based on the mandate of that particular university, not being allowed for political interference, political manipulation. But unfortunately, the nature of African politics, our universities have been eroded. The authority and autonomy have been eroded, and this has been a major problem. And unfortunately, most of the people that have actually served as ministers at that particular time, even the last one under President Buhari, he said for complete 80 years that as a minister he did not know what actually happened in that ministry, which is very, very unfortunate. And I think the 2009 agreement was actually signed, but it appears that the government at that particular time, they signed the agreement in a hurry without allowing for proper study of the implications. The financial aspect of it was so enormous that even up to today, the present government cannot be able to actually fulfill all the requirements, because we don't have only tertiary institutions that are being maintained by the federal government. We have Polytechnic, there are so many in this country. We have College of Education, and we also have a lot of school of agriculture that are also tertiary institutions to be taken care of, so that it is so enormous for government to actually meet all these requirements at a go. And since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been in the saddle, they have been able to, particularly in the area of payment of their salaries and earn allowances, and ensuring that and the backlog of those that were maybe at that particular time, because they went on strike, and the government then said they are not going to pay, but the federal government has been able to redeem that aspect. But what the lecturers are fighting for, which is actually legitimate, is the issue of their welfare is not all that so well taken care of, in terms of how could a professor be earning 525,000 naira in a month.
Basic?
That's the totality. Totality is which is not how could they be? They will not be able to meet their financial requirements in terms of price mechanism to get or to meet the goods and services they require for them to, at least as a lecturer, to be able to sit down really comfortably. And that is one of the reasons for corruption and manipulation in the tertiary institutions. So that at the end of it, you discover that most of the students are better than their lecturers. Some of the lecturers are taking public buses. Some of the lecturers cannot even afford to even buy the relevant textbooks or instructional materials, because the university could no longer provide. Most of the laboratories in the university, even the research centers, the research institutions, those are the things that the lecturers are fighting for. Because without research, that society will not progress, because we are talking about development. The prototype of any development is being anchored by any university. And it is the responsibility of the government. It's okay, a prototype of car that be produced, it will be translated to the private sector for them to actually bring it to reality in terms of production. But all those things are not well provided. And at the same time, issue of institutional autonomy, the rate at which the Federal Ministry of Education and the relevant stakeholders who are in government interfere with the internal affairs of the university, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. So that is why the quality of products from these institutions are not the best for us. And that is why even somebody said about 2 or 3 years ago that Nigerian graduates are not employable. How would they be employable when somebody who has read chemistry or physics, you will not even see, you will not go to even a laboratory, you just cram everything and you pour it and you got first class degree. But at the end of the day, such person will not be able to defend. Okay. But what I'm saying in essence now is that in a summary, the minister in particular and the major stakeholders, they need to come to a round table and have sincere dialogue with the lecturers. Their president spoke about 2 or 3 days ago. I know he's so passionate about the development of education in Nigeria. They are not prepared to go on strike, but they must be able to have face-to-face interface. You know, they have even added the issue of that, the minimum, at least they should be taking, a professor should not take less than 2.5 million.
Yes.
But if some people say, it is too much, what of our senators, our rep member, how much they are taking? But in reality, though, it doesn't work like that, because if there is no budgetary provision, there is no way government can be able to meet.
Okay, let me feel the pulse of Mr. Okeowo. 2009 agreement, 15 years ago. Each time the federal government and lecturers had their friction, we always had to go back to the 2009 agreement. So, for you, why is the agreement not being fulfilled? What is stopping it? Is this about cash? Mr. Lunge said something. He said it is enormous to meet the financial application. Even if it's enormous, is it not possible for federal government to do it bit by bit, like the Yorubas will say, "Edekamu olewai nibi pelebe," bit by bit, until you get to where the egg is?
You see, let me just key into what Barrister Alunge said about the funding of universities. UNESCO standard is that we should have 30% of the total budget every year for education. Assuming without considering, I want to use the word of the lawyers, that 30% is released. Considering the number of universities we have,
even up to 15% is released. More or less official. If it is even 15%.
Yes. Let me just say, in Ondo State alone, we have 5 federal institutions. Now,
government-owned?
No. I'm talking of federal-owned universities. We have Federal School of Agric. We have Federal College of Education. We have FUTA. Look at
Adeyemi,
the Federal College of Education. Adeyemi.
Okay.
Yes, Adeyemi College of Education.
Now the federal.
Yes, when you look at that, in those states alone, we have 3. In Ekiti, I don't know, maybe about 4 now, federal institutions. So when you look at the number of, I'm talking of tertiary institutions. Well, I'm not in Ekiti, they still have Polytechnic. We don't have that in Ondo State.
Ileoluji.
Ileoluji, we didn't even add Ileoluji. I didn't add Ileoluji.
Yes.
Making 4. So in Ekiti, they have about 5, because there is one that has just been approved for in Ekiti.
Yes.
So when you look at that, you know that the number of universities being, in fact, at the time, it was last month that the federal government had to prescribe setting up of universities, because everybody is now seeing setting up of university as constituency projects, and it's becoming embarrassing, and that made the federal government to say no, stop. And these universities or these institutions being set up, how would they be funded? It is through the federal allocation, and that is why you see paucity of funds. If you were to be anything today now, you want an institution established in your constituency, in your area, because of the effects. To bring more people, that means there will be more
It's a very good example. It opened up
for
that area.
Yes, when I was younger and I used to travel to Ikare, Akungba was just like a backwood community, but today it's a very big community. The monarch has now become a first class, considering the fact that there's a university there. So when you look at university, the effects of the university in communities, that's why people think people in positions are looking for opportunities to establish universities in their communities. I don't blame them. But those who are approving, the approving authority, should look at it and say, how do we fund these universities? Now, school fees or fees in federal institutions is like nil. What they pay in federal universities is like free education. So how do you now fund education? Because of the paucity of fund. So the argument of the lecturers that they need more funding is definitely genuine. If somebody demands for 2.5 million, you could negotiate. That's why there's no for negotiation. You can't afford more than 750, considering the fact that we have to pay other ancillary workers in the university. If you give just lecturers 2.5, which they deserve, what happens to non-academic staff?
Yes.
What happens to senior staffs? Junior staff, they are junior staff, they are senior staffs, apart from the lecturers.
So it must be commensurate.
Yes, so it's not just meant for the lecturers alone. So one, the solution to this is that federal government must stop establishment of more universities. They should stop establishing more universities or federal institutions. That is number one. Then number two, if possible, they should merge everything together. If you have federal college of agric, yes, but you can have you can match some. For instance, if you are studying education, just education, there are departments of education. Why can't we have agric match? It will reduce.
Okay.
It will reduce some of the financial burden. In agric, you have people studying agric education.
Yes.
So why can't you just move school of agri? You can use that place as demonstration center. So there are solutions to this. We cannot continue to cry over something where we can pray for something you have the capacity to amend. So the federal government must take some steps. The lecturers also should make move to make sure that we stop proliferation of universities, especially federal universities. Now in Ondo State we have about 10 institutions. Where are the lecturers? How many people have PhD that can be moving around?
That's supposed to be the minimum.
Minimum to lecture. Yes. So we have problem in our hands, and that is why I subscribe to what Barrister Alonge said about looking holistically at the education sector. Education is on the concurrent list of the constitution.
Yes.
So federal can establish, states can establish, local government, if possible, can establish. We have that. So there should be seminar. I mean, what do we call it? Conference on how to run our education system in Nigeria. Without education, like quoted Julius Nyerere, without education, we are ignorant. And once a country is ignorant, we have big problems on our hand.
Okay, now let's take a look at this. Each time there's friction, you can call it strike, industrial action, work to rule, whatever. Who suffers? Students. Months, students are just there, doing nothing. They come back home, they become nuisance to their parents. Let's look at it this way. Let's believe that the lecturers are not being well taken care of. They feel hard done by. Is there any other way apart from this industrial action? Maybe there is a plan B so that our students don't suffer. Because you just discovered that if you are supposed to read a particular course for 5 years, you need to put a plus after the number of years, maybe +1 or +2, and that plus is a function of industrial action. I mean, whatever happens, as a result of the federal government and lecturer disagreement?
Thank you. The issue of industrial action in our tertiary institution is a loss to all the stakeholders involved. Federal government, lecturers, parents, students, because the time lost, you cannot recover that time.
Irreversible.
It's irreversible. And it is, whether the lecturer works or they don't work, they are on industrial action, they will still be paid. And because they feel like the idea of no work, no pay rule. This is a society that is highly sentimental. It cannot work. If this government does not pay, because of political nature of Nigeria, because they are looking for votes, it's okay. We'll pay you. So that if the past government has failed to pay you, we'll pay you because we are looking for votes. So that I think the secret being employed by University of Ilorin should be adopted.
What's the secret?
Because what happens is that you really see that university going on strike over the years. Because it is always better to judge your federal government, particularly the Ministry of Education, must find a way as possible to make sure that issue of industrial action does not come at all.
But always come without.
It will be foreclosed. It will be just because
an agreement has not been fulfilled.
It is. Let me tell you, the issue is that there is no proper interface. There is no sincerity. Government is not sincere. The little you can. These lecturers are reasonable. They are Nigerians. So that you want 200 million. You want these facilities, okay? For now, arising from 2009 agreement, between this period, we'll take care of 25%. Another period, we'll take about 30%. If the lecturers, they see the sincerity, they follow suit, because at the end of the day, the lecturers also have their own works. They have their own children in the institution. They don't have separate university for their own children. It's the same institutions that children of other people attend. There are also their children also attend. They are not happy because ordinarily all of us want students of a higher institution. You know, most lecturers they hate this industrial action, not go into the classroom to lecture. And at the same time, the racial aspect of it is seriously suffering this country, and that's why we are not making progress. We are not making progress, and for me, it's supposed to be extreme last option that even they will have the sympathy of the public if they want to, if it is the last choice is industrial action, so that everybody, these people that have been pushed to the wall, it's okay, but not on any petty industrial action, this and that. No, I don't support it. And like what my other colleagues have been saying, for me, either private individual, state government, or federal government, the issue of establishment of the university for the next 10 years should be put on hold. They should embark on industrial establishment.
Okay, we'll soon go on break, but quickly, let me find out from you. I know the situation in Adekunle University is peculiar. It has nothing to do with the 2009 agreement, because the lecturers withdrew their services this morning. They have down tools, no lecture, nothing. What's the situation there?
They are still on strike. They've not paid them.
Oh, it has to do with salaries.
It has to do with salary. They have not been paid for 4 months. And there are other institutions of government, other departments of government that have not been paid for 4 months. I would expect somebody is coming to work for 4 months and not be paid because of one technical each or the other. It's not fair on their part, on the government part, not to pay workers.
But the governor of Ondo State, Dr. Aida, came out to say that salaries being owed will be paid.
Will be paid. Look at the word, will be paid. Look, how much are they being paid? And how do you expect a lecturer, a professor, even assistant lecturer, to go to work without being paid? He will fuel his car. He also has children. A lecturer has wife, children, dependents, other dependents. He will fuel his car. In the night, he will want to read if there's no light, and he will want to buy fuel in his gen. So they are also women. Government should go ahead and pay them.
Okay.
Not will.
Government will go ahead and pay them. Let's quickly take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us on Viewpoints. Okay, welcome back to Viewpoint, which is coming to you live on OSRC television. We're changing gear now, and the federal government has rewarded the winner of the 2025 Teenage Eagle Global Finals competition, Nafisa Aminu from Yobe State, with just 200,000 naira. Well, more than 900 students, I recall, from 46 countries took part in the contest in London, yet she stood out as a shining star, bringing pride to the entire nation. But recall that the federal government rewarded our Victoria Super Falcons and the Tigress players with $100,000 each, a 3-bedroom flat, and a national honor. So why is our own case different? 200,000 naira, you can imagine a world champion, and the Tigress and Super Falcons continental champion, a whole lot of cash in their pocket. So how do you react to that?
For me, it is the enhancement of our national image, because what that teenage girl has done, it is because education is so critical. And if at that level, and Nigeria, that is from the more or less the third world or developed country, that the whole world is looking down on, that a competition, a global competition in English language, 69 countries, and the competitors, they're about 20,000. That's what they said. So that
to down.
So that at the end of the day, you discover that even the native English-speaking countries thoroughly defeated by a Nigerian, which is actually a plus to us in this particular country. But coming to the issue of remuneration, for me, I just feel that it's just part of the leg. In terms of financial reward, based on her age, I feel that amount is adequate. Because in the sense, yes, in the sense that she's still in her the developmental stage. She has a destiny to fulfill. She has not chosen the means of livelihood, the profession she wants to do tomorrow. This is sort of encouraging something, but where I'm against that, what the federal government could have added scholarship down to tertiary institution for this little girl as impetus and as an encouraging something for this little chap. But when you say the Falcons, the ladies, and at the same time the Tigress, these are mature people. They have chosen their own career. This is what they are doing for a living, and they're already mature. They don't. This is the means of their own livelihood, and they have committed their life into this particular thing. So this is the means of how they want to take care of themselves, take care of their family, and live a reasonable life within society. But we should not look at the amount, but what the federal government has done sufficiently enough is not trying to award this girl scholarship. Okay, I know the federal government will still come up with that. I know.
Let me feel the pulse of Mr. Okewu. Honestly, a global champion. There's a huge gap between 200,000 naira and $100,000. Honestly,
sincerely speaking, I disagree with what the federal government did on that young chap. You know, sometimes people read meanings to it. They would have said, if we were to be a Yoruba person, that maybe probably the president would have given him more money and would have added scholarship from that level to any level. Yes. She wanted to do it. So sometimes those who manage the presidency or manage the president should be able to tell the president or the president the home truths about the feelings of the people. The president is caged like the governor is also, or the governors are caged. It is now left for those people outside,
Kitchen cabinet.
like that, to feel the pulse of the people and tell the. That's why we have special advisors. What the president did is saying that education does not matter,
yes.
in Nigeria, which is wrong. We discussed it on this platform some 3 weeks ago, that the federal government gave such money to falconers and the triggers that yes, they have taken their money, they've taken the necessary appearance fee, winning match bonus and others, and still compensated them with such whooping amount of money, whereas other aspects of the nation's area, like the economy, like the social area, suffer. So we should look at it like that. Yes, the lady is a teenager, young person, but should be encouraged. Though part of those people who played that or those matches, some of them are in their teens.
Yes, teenagers, yes.
Yeah, some of them are still in university.
Yes.
So why not encouraging her? At least if you are not giving her such money, at least, like he said, scholarship to any level. That is a national pride. So we should not let the world think that these people are more into sports than education. He has said it, that without education, we are living in
ignoramuses.
Yes, and this is wrong for the federal government to have compensated her adequately. 200,000. It's like people in the university. Somebody will come will be the best graduate student. We're giving him 10,000, 20,000.
10,000.
What kind of thing is that?
Okay, seems our time is up. What is sauce for goose is also
sauce for
for gander. What I would do as far as the show is concerned today, let me quickly thank Mr. Felix Anogo. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me again. God
Mr.
bless.
Well, thank you immensely for joining
Just
me.
remove the mister. Just.
Until next week, when we shall be back, my name is Akintunde Akinshomola. Good evening.